Hi guys, welcome to Mark and Jack. I'm Adrian and today we're in Scotland. Going to spend a bit of time with the Glasgow and Edinburgh RedBar crew and Montblanc and the Scottish Watches guys. Let's go see what's going on. This event was slightly different. I was given the opportunity to interview Davide from Montblanc, the chap who's in charge of Montblanc watches. I've already done an interview with him and spent quite a bit of time chatting with him, so I'll put a link to the video up here. So instead, I tag-teamed this interaction with the guys from Scottish Watches. If you're not familiar with Scottish Watches, they are a podcast from Scotland. They talk about watches. They don't actually talk that much about watches. It's more around Rick's tractors and Rikki's Tinder interactions. It's a good laugh. They don't take things too seriously, which is what this community needs.
Welcome to what would normally be called the Scottish Watches podcast. Mm-hmm. But for this particular episode, is this a collaboration officially?
I'm starting to feel like it's a takeover. Is this?
Well, you're moving
hostile.
Hostile takeover. You are moving to Scotland after all. So, that's just the way it goes. Yes, we are collaborating this particular episode because we are delighted to welcome Montblanc. We're at Montblanc RedBar event being hosted in Edinburgh this evening. So we'll hand over to Adrian. We'll do one of these proper TV handovers. I'll hand over to Adrian to introduce our guest. Adrian, take it away. Seeing as you spent the last 5 minutes learning how to pronounce the man's name properly, so you should probably be the one that gets to benefit from that.
It is not going to come over as cool. So we've got Davide. Davide, thanks so much for spending some time with me and with the Scottish Watches guys.
Great pleasure.
For those who aren't familiar, can you just introduce your connection to Montblanc?
Yes, my name is Davide Cerrato. I'm in charge of watches, the whole watch business for Montblanc, and I'm really driving design and product development directly. I've been in the watch industry since almost 20 years and I've gone through from Panerai to Rolex and today since 4 years to Montblanc.
What have you got on this evening?
The 1858 chronograph monopusher split second, which is part of our new collection with an unusual band strap that I'm testing is a distressed lamb band strap that I think perfectly matches the bronze and the patina, the vintage look of the watch.
Big fan of bund straps. I do very much like them. I have a couple on watch I've got. So
did it remind you of the wall that you were in?
Sorry?
Did it remind you of the wall you were in?
Yeah, okay, I'm not that old. Adrian's now actually met me and was, as I understand it, shocked when I walked into the room.
I'm polite.
We'll soon wear that off you. At least two of us made an effort to get dressed for the occasion. That's all I'm saying.
This isn't a t-shirt.
We washed our jeans and everything.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get that far. I didn't wash them. So Davide, we caught up. I think it was last October we caught up, and you just launched some of these guys. So in the past, this year so far, what have been the big things that have happened?
We have presented this green capsule, bronze and military khaki green on 1858, which has been very successful. In particular, the Geosphere, which is our iconical watch, is really making a big statement. Is now we have done it in steel with a black dial, in bronze, a limited edition with a black dial, and now in military khaki green and bronze. And each time we are adding a layer, and we are really building a lot of our watch identity, new watch identity around this watch and this line. And then we are right now, really in June, delivering and presenting in the point of sale the new heritage product line. That is also, to me, fitting very well the new expression of our design and of our identity, with these very nice pink salmon dials and very beautiful vintage details on the watches, and again, very positive welcome. The pulsograph, the doctor's watch, has been really rocketing.
And so what's it like being in the position you are of actually being able to control what a watch looks like? So you've got the ultimate decision to say, you know what, I think we should do green. and you get to push that through and actually see what you vision coming to real life. How satisfying is that?
But it's why I'm doing this job,
Yeah.
clearly. And design and product development is something that really so exciting and so nice when you start to see people wearing a particular watch that you have thought and imagined and done and being so satisfied and excited and sharing and speaking about it. It's really, really something that that is, to me, is very important. I just want to make a small parenthesis. I would, but I'm not deciding everything. My boss is checking, and the group is checking, and everyone is its own boss. So, but yes, the fact is proposing something new and different, and then defending it through all the different validation process in such a way that at the end you are able of bringing in something special.
Yes.
And I must say that in the last 4 years, Montblanc has been coming with very strong, a little bit new color or lost color that we brought back with strong design.
On the back of that, I think it's interesting how the brand has suddenly transitioned from the fairly formal watch to suddenly creating watches that do evoke adventure and exploration. How would you come up with an idea of something that creates adventure?
But the way in which we develop watches and design is that we start from a concept, which is more a creative concept. I would call it a narrative, and in this case was really outdoor adventure, and very clearly outdoor adventure in the last 5 years after the film Into the Wild has become a huge thing. And now you see a kind of very interesting way of coming together of the dream of a cabin in the woods and all these architecture cabinet that create sustainable cabinet that you can put to live everywhere next to a lake on top of a mountain. You have photography and natural photography that has become very often. Photographers are also adventurer, and this idea of getting outside there and spending a little bit of time outside, exercising a little bit and relaxing. And getting back to this reconnection with nature, and is something really big. We said, okay, this matches perfectly with our maison that is called Montblanc, and the idea of a mountain that is the symbol of. And then we are going to create a line called 1858, where we take the military design of Minerva of the 30s and 40s because of the functional characteristic of military watches. Military watches have always been the companion of explorer and adventurer. And we are going to put all of this together, and we are going to create this line. And for example, if we take the green, the khaki green Geosphere, but here the idea was really saying, okay, we started with the top of the mountain, then with here we go more into the forest, and we thought about the American park, the big American park, as really the symbol of this adventurous feeling. And we said, okay, the color of is the khaki green, is the big sequoias and and all this green that is into there. So the fact of choosing that particular color, of putting an auto strap, of coupling it with bronze, because bronze also gives you the feeling and even the sign of the fact that you have been outside and through the oxidation and through the patina that comes. And then you have a watch that is really putting all of this together.
Davide is such a cool guy. He's very open to chat. It's the PR team were a bit more relaxed this time. There was a different PR team last time, and they kept interrupting the conversation to kind of pull things back on track. But Davide did so much for Tudor to relaunch their adventurous side to the brand, and really the Tudor Black Bay is an incredibly successful piece, and it's interesting how he's managed to take that and do the same but different for Montblanc. There's two kind of challenges with Montblanc though. One, there's the branding. When you say Montblanc, you immediately think of the pens, and it's going to be really hard for them to push away from that connection. Even though I think the Montblanc branding really fits with being a watch brand, I think it works. The other side of it is that then the pricing structure that they have. I feel like there's two issues within the pricing structure. They have such a wide banding of watches, ranging from $2,500-3 grand watches all the way up to £100,000 watches. I think the pricing structure is too big. The biggest issue that I have with all of this is the fact that their kind of flagship watch, the Geosphere, which I think is an awesome looking piece. It's really very interesting. The challenge is this starts at £4,600. In the watch world, fine, that's not too bad. So you kind of push it into, is it competing with Rolex? Is it competing with the Omega Seamaster? But then you look inside it, and it's powered by a Sellita SW300-1, and that's the base movement. It's slightly unfair comparison because it has other complications going on. It's got a second time zone, and then it also has these two semispheres that represent the northern and southern hemisphere, and they turn around, they rotate to display the day-night indicator. So there's other things going on inside this watch. But for this to be a competitive piece, the fact it's Sellita powered brings it then down to below the Tudor Black Bay, or maybe just in line with the original Tudor Black Bay of around £2,500, but we're still sitting at £4,600. I think that's going to be their biggest barrier. It's cool to have those extra little complications, and that makes it a more interesting watch, but then how important is it to know these other indications of the day and night indicators? I think that's going to be their biggest challenge. I feel like their next step, hopefully this is it, their next step should be launching a more simple, less complicated watch, remove those day-night indicators, remove that second time zone, launch this watch as a time and date only, and do it with an in-house movement. I think that would be superb. It'd be a great offering. They'd still need to reduce that pricing because I think that's too expensive. It's going to be a challenge for Montblanc, and I don't think anything's changed really, certainly with my reaction to Montblanc compared to the first time I had an interaction with them. I still think the watches that they build are stunning pieces. I wouldn't buy one because the prices, they're too high for what they are. Guys, let me know what you think about Montblanc. But maybe your mind has changed. Maybe you've bought a Montblanc and your mind has kind of changed towards it to kind of get used to the idea that Montblanc is a watch company. And it's the idea of Montblanc buying Minerva. A lot of people say that they've just bought that heritage. Well, I'm sorry, but a lot of other brands have bought their watchmaking ability as well. So it's that side of it is not really a point because it's other brands have done it and those brands have been accepted. So there's got to be something else going around on Montblanc, and it's time will tell as where this whole thing is going. Do go check out the Scottish Watches podcast. I'll put a link down below. You can just search for them in whatever podcast app you use. They'll have the whole interaction with Davide. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Jump over to barkandjack.shop if you want to check out our NATO straps. Go follow me on Instagram at barkandjack and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.